Hi, and welcome to Gardening Time. Today I'm going to give you a tour of our garden and show you what we have growing in the month of July. So I'm going to start right here. This is on our front porch, and I've got a few pots here. In this front planter here, I have some pineapple, mint, and some verbena, and some oregano. And in the large pot in the back, I have some chocolate mint growing. And then over by the gnome, I've got some thyme. And then right behind the gnome, I have some Cherry Falls verbena. And then just behind everything, I have some right here. This is, actually, that's the chocolate mint. I think I told you wrong. And this over here is spearmint. Yeah, I just got this one this year. The chocolate mint, this is its second year. I had to pot it up this year into a larger pot because it's grown so much. Okay, this is a look from the porch looking out into the front flower bed, and you can see off to the right of the screen our oriental lilies have just opened up, and the smell is so intoxicating, and the flowers themselves are absolutely beautiful. This variety is called Blanca, so they're just like a snow white, pure white variety. And I have several of them growing in this garden bed. I've had them in this garden bed now for I think about 3, 4, or 4 years now. So they've gotten pretty well established, and they're about 4.5 feet tall right now. So they've actually gotten to be a really nice size. Okay, if we pan down, I'll show you down here at the base of this Alberta spruce. I've got, I think that's Heucherella, and some spotted lungwort in the corner. So this is just giving you a shot from a distance of what this garden bed looks like this time of year. So we've tried to keep most of the plants in this bed short because it's seen from both sides. From if you're inside the house looking out, you know, I wanted to keep the most of the shrubs short so that you could still see out. But it's still nice to have some tall plants as well to break things up. And these oriental lilies really do the ticket. They're really beautiful. Okay, I've got my hydrangeas. This is some stock that I planted from seed and put in the ground. Don't know why. It seems like the flowers have not filled out like they did in the photograph. I still like the plant because the leaves, I like the sagey green of the leaves and the texture. It's nice, but I might try a different variety of stock next year in this bed and see how it does. Got one hydrangea so far peeking through right there. This is a lace cap variety, and I've got a couple of more that you can see back here that are just starting to come in. My astilbe is actually just starting to go out of season. The flowers are starting to turn brown at the bottom. I wish I could have caught this a week or two ago, and it was just absolutely the most beautiful color of pink, like the pink that you see right at the tips right now. The whole thing was covered in that. Such a beautiful display. And our lamb's ear is doing really well. I love the color and texture that this plant adds to this garden. Okay, here are my roses. Got to spray my roses down again. I've had to spray them multiple times so far this season because of bugs. Actually, there is a Japanese beetle perched on one of the leaves right now. I don't know if you can see it, yeah, them as well as a lot of other insects for some reason have found my roses and are have just been non-stop attacking them, eating the leaves and the buds and everything. But they're still coming along nicely. They've got some new buds and some new shoots coming in. So this plant's actually doing well. Then I've got in the back there, you can see I've got, well, there's another one of the Oriental lilies, but then I've got a couple of hydrangea heads. And this is the mop head variety. I think this one might be called Endless Summer, but I'm not sure. Then we got more of the astilbe. And the stalk. And then this is another lace cap variety, or lace cap hydrangea. And then a couple more Oriental lilies at the end. So just giving you a side view of the garden, this bed. Really looking pretty. Okay, I'm gonna come over here, and in this little bed here, I've got my rhododendron. This thing is still suffering from chlorosis. I have been treating it, and obviously I still need to treat it some more. It's starting to come back. Its leaves are starting to get greener. And then this is the shade garden on the east side corner of our home. And this bed is actually looking really good this year. Last year it really struggled. I think we had a slug or earwig problem, maybe both. And the plants were really small and they all seemed like they were really struggling. And this year they have really began to bounce back. The spotted nettle is really doing well. It's really starting to really spread out. So I have the spotted nettle planted in between my Jack Frost Brennera, and the leaves, the coloration on the leaves are very similar, but the Brennera has much more broader leaves than the dead nettle. So you still can see that there are two different species in this, in the front here. And then my variegated periwinkle has got a couple of blooms on it. Okay, this is a picture looking out into the back, and all of these three trees are covered in a netting, and that is because of our Japanese beetles. So these are all new trees. The one on the left and the one in the middle, that's all the way in the back, those trees were planted this spring, and then the one tree over on the right side was planted last year. And we've discovered that if we cover the trees when they're young for their first 2 to 3 years, the plants seem to do far more better because they're not having to, not only struggle with building up their root systems, but then also dealing with insects that are destroying their leaves, which is what basically helps them build their root structure. So we found that if you protect the trees when they're young, so that all of their energy can be focused on root growth and development, that within 2 to 3 years you have really nice trees. At least we found that in our area to be the case. Okay, this is another tree that we have covered this year. This is a apple tree. It's a Red Delicious. This is its, I think it's its 2nd year in the ground. And the tree is doing quite well. We ended up making these cages ourselves. We just used electrical conduits. We just bent the tops, and then we used these little connector pieces to connect the tops together. So this one has 4 pieces. Some of them we've only used 2 bars or 2 sticks. But then when the plants get larger, to give the plants plenty enough room in all directions, we usually use 4 bars. And so we just round the tops, and then to get them into the ground, we use some rebar. I think we cut rebar to 15 inches, and then we pound the rebar, I think it's 1/2 inch rebar, into the ground, and then the conduit slides over the rebar, and that holds, basically stakes the rebar in place. And then these covers, the netting, you can buy those on Amazon. That's where we have gotten ours, is off of Amazon. They sell them already pre-made in these covers that have zippers and a drawstring and everything. They're really nice, and you can reuse them year after year. We just store ours away in a tub, and then pull them out in the spring or early summer when we start to see the Japanese beetles. And like I said, they've worked out really good for us. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and now show you the west side garden. It is doing so beautiful this year. Everything is really starting to grow in. So I'm just right now giving you a pan of what it looks like. There's a ginormous burn pile there. But yeah, so there's the garden. And I wanted to pan over in a little bit farther to show you this over here. This is what the entire west side garden used to look like prior to us cutting it all back and digging out stumps and everything else, and planting each and every one of these plants in the ground. And our hopes are to one day have this beautiful garden line all the way down the whole west side of our property. So the first place we're going to start is right here at the beginning of the bed. And these are balloon flowers that I planted. I got all of those on clearance last year, and they never bloomed. In fact, I put them in the ground, and I think within a few weeks, they all seemed to I think they got eaten by a rabbit or something, some of them, and some of them just fizzled out, and I thought, oh boy, well, at least I didn't pay full price for them. But lo and behold, I think all of them came back this year and are just looking beautiful. I'm so happy with them. I've got to weed this garden, but It's just one of those never-ending chores for a gardener. But this year, I got some of this scabiosa, and I've been wanting some of it for a while now. Now this is supposed to be perennial in our area, so I thought that was really pretty. I think we used to have, this Korean, I think it's anise jubilee or jubilee anise, the lime-colored plant. I used to have that. The main one was planted in this area, and the main plant died, but it sent off, it must have went to seed, and it seeded itself, and you can see all of these plants growing up here. I let them grow because I love this plant. I love the color of it. The leaves are really good if you are somebody that likes herbal teas. It has almost like a licorice type taste to it, licorice minty type taste to it. It's really nice. And the bees love it as well. Okay, you can see here I have some echinacea, or it's also called purple coneflower. This is the first year that this has that these have bloomed like this. I think last year I had I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 blooms, and that was it. And but it sent up all these other plants, and I let them all kind of grow, and this year I just have this beautiful display. I'm really happy with them. Okay, here you can see our blue spruce growing in the back there. That has gotten quite a bit taller this year. It is probably now, I would probably say at least a good 4 feet tall. So when we first got it in the ground a couple years ago, I think it was maybe 2 feet tall, probably. So it's really doing well, seems to like its spot. And I planted around it some bergamot, and that is the red flowering variety. And then in the back here, I've got my phlox that is just coming into bloom. And I've got some liatris. And I believe this is limelight hydrangea. This one's doing really good. It's got a lot of blooms on it. Okay, this is my very first hollyhock I have ever grown. I am so happy to see it. Let me zoom in a little bit. It's so pretty. I'm hoping that this reseeds itself and comes back next year. All right, and here is it's hyssop jubilee. And this plant was a volunteer. I didn't pull it up. It decided to go ahead and make its home right in front of the bench here. And I was just like, I don't care, I'm gonna leave it. I do love this plant. It's a beautiful plant. The butterflies and bees love it. And it's just got a lot of really great benefits to it. Okay, this is my pink chiffon Rose of Sharon. And it's so far got a couple of blooms, but there's just a ton of blooms all over this plant that are just about ready to just pop. This is Neptune catmint. And these are Madonna daisies. I've already had to cut the heads off these because they were dying back. But these were planted back behind some other plants that I'd put in the ground, and they never bloomed, and it was because the other plants had gotten way too tall and these were not getting enough sun. So early this spring I dug all of them up and decided to put them around in a circle around this sand cherry tree. And they're doing really well. They all flowered for the first time this year, and I'm really happy with it. And on the inside of the circle, I ended up planting some chives, some garlic chives in there. Okay, this is my rainbow of yarrow. I have all different colors in there, all different pastel colors, and it's just looking so beautiful. This is what I envisioned when I first planted all the different colors in this bed, but it took a couple of years for everything to fully mature to get to this point where everything is in bloom and it's just looking so pretty. Okay, I've got some Indian blanket flower, and these were started from seed, and they're just putting on a glorious show this year. I'm really, really happy with these. These are perennial in our area. And then just off to the left of it is some oregano. And oregano in our area is a perennial, and so I ended up growing a few more oregano plants from seed, and I put them, you can't really see them because the Indian plant has kind of fallen over and is draping over them, but I put a few more oregano plants in there because I thought it would be pretty to have a nice drift of that along the front of this border. I've got some more balloon plant in the back there. And here is some Weigelia. I think it's dark horse Weigelia. And here's some blue Veronica. I need to cut it back. Its blooms are just about spent. And that's some golden privet in the back there. I thought I lost that. I actually had two of these plants. One side, another one was right off to the right of it, and that one died, I think last spring. And this one I thought was going to die this year, but it's bounced back. And this tall plant right here, that is a butterfly bush. I planted that from seed. I got the seeds from Baker Creek. I was only successful in growing one, or getting one to grow. And I planted this last year, and it came back this year, and that thing just grew and grew and grew. It's probably right now, if I were to stand next to it, it would be about 5 feet tall. And here is another variety of butterfly bush. This one is in full bloom, and there is another one next to it. But for some reason, the one next to it, it's getting eaten by some bugs. I guess that happens sometimes. And then there is another variety of a butterfly bush right here. And I think this one is a Pugster Blue. I really love the color of the leaves. Again, that bluish sagey green, very pretty. And then all along in the back there, you can see all of the white. This is common yarrow. And I grew the common yarrow more for medicinal purposes, also for the bees and pollinators. But I think it's also a beautiful plant as well, or beautiful flower. I think it's really pretty. It's almost like baby breath in the garden, you know? And just in front of it, the yellow flowers, that is Rudbeckia. That is the first year this plant bloomed. So I think I've had it in the ground. This is its third year in the ground. Last year I didn't get any blooms off of it, and this year the thing is just blooming. It's completely loaded. And just showing you what we got. This is the new section of the garden. I've got some salvia growing in here. And I think I'm going to remove these. This is a sedum. I think I'm going to take that and move that somewhere else, because I've got 10 more of these plants right here, and I want to create a nice drift of them along the front of this border here. This is, I think it's purple volcano salvia. I've got a lot more of these as well growing. So I'm going to make this a thicker swath. I'm going to add some more of them in, and I'll probably sprinkle some in other parts of the garden as well. This is more Veronica. And okay, this is a dahlia, and this is a perennial variety of dahlia. I got these seeds off Baker's Creek, and I just think they are the most beautiful flower. They're so unique. I also have the non-perennial variety as well. This is a yellow variety of dahlia. I've got 3 plants growing here. These have to be dug up every year. But my thoughts are that once I dig these up, I have a whole bunch of the perennial dahlia growing in this area. I think I'm just going to let them fill in this area and take hold. In the front here, I have Nicotiana. This is also flowering tobacco. Really pretty flower. And you could see our new pinwheel. My niece got this for me for Christmas to put in the garden. And we finally got it up, and it's so pretty. Okay, this is in the over here on this right side of the garden. This is raspberry daiquiri agastanche. And then just behind it, I have some hawthorn. And then behind that, I have a hydrangea. I think that's Fire and Ice is the variety name. The stems are really beautiful. They're like a dark red, almost black. Really pretty, and I think the flowers turn to like a red color as well. As they age, they'll go from white to pink, and I think they go to red. And then this is a spirea. I think it's snowmound. And then I have another spirea here. I'm not sure the name on this one. I'll put it on the screen if I can find the tag. This one, its leaves are almost like a limey color, and it gets really pretty pink flowers on it. Okay, I wanted to show you, these are the pots on our back deck. And I did a video a few weeks ago, and I had just planted these, and I am just amazed at how much they have grown in, and they're just looking so beautiful. Okay, just wanted to give you an update on the chickens. They're all doing well. We got 5 of them here, and there's 1 inside the coop. It's our broody hen. She has been broody for, I want to say a month, 4 weeks, maybe longer. But all the chickens are doing well. Okay, this is going to lead us into the west side shade garden. And this area is looking really nice. It's really grown in a lot. I don't know how well you can see it. It's probably not the ideal time of day to be filming, but yeah, everything is just looking really, really pretty. I did plant a new, it's a cross between a rhododendron and a azalea. And I didn't even know that there was such a thing, but anyhow, right there. And so that one so far is doing really good, seems to really like its home. Got our little cherub. Got a huge patch of this dead nettle, spotted nettle. This is the white flowering variety here. It's doing really good, seems to really like its home. This is a Nico Blue hydrangea. That has yet to bloom for us. I think this is its 3rd year in the ground. Every year it seems to get bigger and bigger. This I planted as a bare root, so it may take it, you know, that might be why it hasn't bloomed yet. It just needs to beef up its root system and get bigger. So I'm hoping next year we'll get some flowers. And another big patch of this spotted nettle seems to really be liking this area. And there is one of our honeyberry plants. And I have another one right here that is quite a bit larger, as you can see, than this one. This one struggled a bit, but it was weird. I ended up pressing around the roots to see if there were any soft spots, and I did have a soft spot. And I was able to push the dirt down in one area, and then I added some fresh dirt to that location. And it seemed like within a week or two, I got a brand new shoot that just popped up, it seemed like, from the trunk. So I'm hoping that maybe that's why this plant was suffering. Maybe there was a little bit of an air pocket around the root. Some more spotted nettle. Oh, and a little bit of, this is a stilby. One little pink bloom on that, but I'm just really happy to see it bloom. A stilby is one of those plants, they like water, and this area doesn't get that much water. I do supplement it from time to time, but not as much as I'm sure the astilbe would like me to. So I'm just happy to see it blooming. Got some corbels. These corbels are really cool. They have the flower stalks that they shoot up have bright red flowers on them, and they're so pretty. Usually the flowers off of corbels are not that stunning, but these ones, they're really pretty. They really put on a nice show when they're in bloom. The big drift of the spotted nettle. And this is the newest, what do you call it, little area that I landscaped this year in the shade garden. I can't think of the name of the plant in the back there. If I think about it or can find the tag, I'll put it on the screen. But that is a variegated leaf variety, and that should actually get quite a bit bigger and fill in the back nicely. And then I've got 2 purple leaf heucheras in the front. They don't look purple right now. They have more of a green tinge to them, but it might be because maybe they need a little bit more light to turn the leaves more darker or purplish color. I'm not sure. Anyhow, in front of them I have Jacob's Ladder. I absolutely love this plant, Jacob's Ladder. It put up the sweetest flower clusters. And I love the leaves. Let me see if I could zoom in and show you the leaves. They're almost fern looking. So pretty. I'd like to have more of this. I'm gonna see if, since they're flowering, I'm gonna see if I can save some seeds off of the plants to propagate them. Okay, and then in front, as a ground cover, I put this variegated bugleweed down. This is the mother plant, the plant that I started with this spring. And from this plant, I took several clippings and rooted them in water, and then once they rooted, I put them in seedling pots. Since then, I've been able to plant several more of these, not only in this location, but also in our front bed as well. Okay, these are our raspberries. This is our red raspberries. We've got both the heritage variety and the Lantham variety. We have had a ton of raspberries this year. I'm very thankful for that. We've been eating bowls of berries for the last couple of weeks now, and very grateful for that. It's nice to have that rather than having to go and buy some in the store. It's nice to get them fresh from your garden. And this is our blackberry patch right here. This is the thornless Apache, I think, variety. It's a thornless variety anyhow. And we also have the baby cakes variety, which is a short variety growing. And then this is our jewel black raspberry. This is the first year that we've gotten fruit off this one, and really good, really nice. The fruits, as compared to the red ones, are a lot more firmer. They are a bit smaller, but the taste is really good. They're a little bit more seedier, but still, all in all, really nice. I like the fact that they hold their firmness more so than the reds do. And next to it, we have the fall gold. Okay, my absolute favorite by far in terms of taste. Raspberry, absolutely delicious. It's distinctly sweeter, and it has a lot less tartness to it than the red and the black raspberry do. Then we've got our 2 currant plants that are growing, and we've already harvested from these. We've got to probably do a second harvest, but what we do with these is we make a syrup, sweetened syrup from these, and then we freeze that syrup, and we use that for making ice pops with. Then we got all of our blueberries. I think the blueberries, they seem to be suffering from a little bit of iron deficiency. I have treated them, but it looks like I need to come back in and treat them again. Even though we've gotten a ton of blueberries from these plants, yeah, it does seem like they are suffering a little bit from a bit of a deficiency. So I will be treating these again here. Okay, this is our newest raised bed. This bed, we built this last spring, and by the time it was finished, I really wasn't able to really grow, get much in the bed, but we did grow a few things last year. But this year, you can see these tall plants here. Those are lemony or sunflower, lemon sunflower, something. I'll put the name on the screen if I can find it. I'm excited for those to open up. I thought those would be nice for attracting the bees to this area, although they haven't even opened yet, and the squash and zucchinis are loaded with fruit, so I don't think the bees have had any trouble finding finding the flowers. Everything in this bed is doing extraordinarily well. We've enjoyed our very first stuffed zucchini. I never made it before, but when we pulled out 2 ginormous zucchinis that we didn't catch in enough time, I thought, well, now's a good time to try that. It actually came out really nice. Of course, we probably got another meal or 2 in the fridge left over. It makes a lot. And we got our green bean pole here. It's got the green beans growing on it. And I've got some watermelons in the ground, and those are doing nice. And then I've got 4 eggplant varieties as well. This is a new eggplant I'm growing this year, so I'm hoping that I get some fruit off of it to try it out. Then we've just got our kale, and I probably need to spray these with some BT. The butterflies have been relentless. And then we have some purple sprouting broccoli. I don't know if we're going to get anything off these because it's so late in this, it's warm right now. So we'll see if these fruit for us or not. Okay, I'm going to take you into the raised vegetable garden beds now, show you what we have growing here. We've got our arbor, where one side of it we are growing string beans, and on the other side of it here I've got all of my cucumbers growing, and whoops, they're all doing well. Got several different varieties growing here. Yeah, this garden has just seriously just taken off. It's insane how fast things start to grow when it heats up. We've got 3 varieties of cherry tomatoes. This variety here is called Honeycomb. We've grown this for the last few years. It's one of our favorites. We absolutely love it. It's from Burpee. Honeycomb, I think, is the name. And then this variety here, if I can show you what some of the fruits look like here. I don't know how well back there you can see. This is a black cherry. This is another one of our favorites. We got these seeds from Baker's Creek. And then the next variety is this one over here, and this one we haven't gotten any ripe fruits yet, but this is a new variety, and this is a red cherry tomato. Then we've got all of our saucing tomatoes, our Roma tomatoes, and they are all just loaded with fruit. So I think this is going to be a good year for tomatoes. Yeah, everything is doing really good. have to come in and weed. So what we do is we grow in between our tomatoes bushes, we grow basil. And I have several varieties of basil growing because we use it both for culinary purposes as well as for making tea out of. I didn't know it, but I guess I read where basil is actually part of the mint family. I was interested when I found that out, especially you know, after discovering these varieties of basil that are really delicious as for using as a tea. You can see our bergamot. Got the whole last foot or so of this garden bed is filled with this bergamot, and I planted it here quite a few years ago for the sole purpose of attracting bees to this location, and it just comes back every year. Okay, these are our slicing tomatoes here, and all of them are doing very well. But I gotta show you guys down here. Oh, look at these babies. Oh my goodness. There's 4 of them in a group. The biggest one is in the back there. You can't even see him from this side, but oh, I'm so excited. These are our peppers. Peppers are doing okay this year. Not quite as robust as I was hoping that they would be at this time, but they are coming along. I wanted to show you this variety here. This is the jigsaw variety, and I just think the plant is so beautiful. I love the variegation of the leaves, and the flowers are like this almost a chartreuse purple color. Like, they're really pretty. They really stand out. I don't see any flowers on the plant at this time, but really neat plant. Okay guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here, showing you our bees. Bees are doing fantastic. This hive here swarmed a few weeks ago. We didn't catch it in enough time. So we're hoping that they are going to be successful in getting a mated queen to return to the hive. This coming weekend, we're going to actually go into the hive for the first time in over 3 weeks to see if we've gotten, in fact, if they have a queen that has come back. And if not, we're either going to have to find a queen or figure out something else to try to save the hive. But all in all, they are all doing really good. In fact, we harvested some honey already. I think we got close to 20 pounds of honey. And I know for probably a lot of beekeepers are like, oh, that's nothing, but when you haven't had fresh honey for a little while, it's just, oh, it's so nice. It's nice. So, and we hopefully will get some more before the end of the year. But at any rate, bees are doing well. Hope you all are having a wonderful day, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.